And welcome to the Ring Weekly Catch-Up. I'm Burf. I'm joined by professional boxer Jack 13 Morris. And lots to talk about. Obviously, the big fight at the MGM at the weekend. Maidana once again going in there with Mayweather. But before that, let's talk about the fight at the weekend. Cole Frampton, Kiko Martinez. I think you've got to say, really well done, Team Frampton. Well done also, Team McGuigan. What are your thoughts about the fight at the weekend?
Yeah, I thought Carl Frampton did a superb job. I think that he could turn into be a modern day great. I didn't think that when I was seeing him on the early stages of his career, but it's like as the opponents have gone up and he's had a bit more pressure put on him, he delivers time and time again. Again, you say about congratulations to McGuigan's also. I mean, I think Shane McGuigan's like a 28-year-old, I won't say boy, but a young trainer who, you know, he doesn't get overexcited by the occasion. His corner advice was spot on, so I thought it was a really good job all round.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Shane McGuigan, actually, in fairness. I thought he was superb. Very unemotional. In fact, his dad's more emotional than he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I thought he was he's obviously going to turn him, he's going to be a great trainer. There's no two ways about that. No real surprises, though, in the fight. I mean, my feeling was, and I said it on Facebook, Frampton wins on points. My feeling was that Kiko Martinez had gone on a bit of a journey. Obviously, won the title, made a couple of defences, so he's come on. So the way I worked it out was, well, he's going to come on a little bit. So let's just say there is a bit of improvement. The other lad knows what's coming at him. You've got to theorise that he's going to go to points and lose on points, and sure enough, that's what it was. Very strong fighter, Kiko Martinez, but he's another one. He's a Ricky Burns fighter for me. He's gone an awful long way with not the greatest amount of talent, you know, to win the title and defend it in the fashion that he has. Frampton, obviously a quality piece, but again, very, very tough division.
Yeah, I'd definitely say he's number 2 in the division at the minute. I don't see anyone. I don't even see Scott Quigg really giving him too much problems, and I rate Scott Quigg. I think Scott Quigg's a
that was
good
interesting
because
I mean, there was a phase back there, wasn't there? There was a period of time back there where I think everyone had Scott Quigg a little bit ahead of Frampton.
Yes, yeah.
Then I think when Frampton knocked out Kiko Martinez for the first time, then everyone went, oh, actually, he's a little bit more about this kid than I think everyone appreciated at the time. And obviously since then he's gone on leaps and bounds, and now he's got the rematch, won the title, and now Scott Quigg's looking a little bit like the second runner in the second best United Kingdom world champion.
Yeah. Scott Quigg's I think he's a fantastic boxer. Like, if you look at him sort of tactically, he seems to work well under instructions. I just think with Frampton, you've got freakish power on a little guy, as well as superb boxing ability. He can make you miss.
Do you think that's got anything? Do you think that's got anything to do with? I mean, I like another reason I like Shane McGuigan is he's my. You know what my kind of trainer is. I don't like people call themselves professional boxing coaches, know nothing about physiology, know nothing about somatotype training applications, anything like that, and then still call themselves professional boxing coaches. Winds me up a little bit. Doesn't wind me up if they've got the common sense to bring in a proper conditioner. But I've got to say, looking at that lad, Shane McGuigan, he looks like he delivers, you know, the full package. He seems to know what he's talking about and the conditioning side, because you've got to be so strong. It's not, you know, it's a lovely idea, isn't it? Oh, how'd you run around a 5-mile run, do a few press-ups. That's not really what the pro game's all about. And I think he's done a brilliant job with the diet, the strength of the kid, and obviously aligning the way he boxes with his mentality, you know. And I think that from my standpoint, look at him, he's obviously the number one man. He's banging out 16,000 tickets like he did at the weekend. Does he need Scott Quigg?
I'd say not. You know, I think it's a fight that we all want to see, so it will happen. I don't think Frampton needs Scott Quigg. I think Scott Quigg needs Frampton.
That's what I'm saying. Well, so does Santa Cruz. So does Abner Perez. You know, they're good fighters and big-ish sort of fighters. But I think what you saw the other day, you know, had echoes of Barry McGuigan. It had echoes of that.
Yeah, or I'm thinking more Ricky Hatton as well. I mean, I think you could take that kid over to Vegas, put him on an undercard of a Mayweather
What
fight.
about sticking him in New York?
Or New York, yeah, with the Irish contingent there, yeah. I mean, I think he's going to be a superstar.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking kid as well, isn't he?
Well, I'm not really into that, but as you wish.
But obviously it can help. Although, yeah, God bless him, Ricky Hatton seemed to do all right himself. Ricky Hatton looked like me on a bad day. But no, and I'm very happy, I think, to see the kid do well, because he does seem like a nice lad as well. He's got something about him.
Yeah, both of them. I think, because I think...
What, Scott Quiggins, what you mean?
No, I'm talking about Shane McGuigan.
Oh, for sure,
He's under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's his first world title
and the
fight.
McGuigan name, of course.
The McGuigan name, yeah, and he's, he doesn't look over... He doesn't let his ego get on top of him.
No, he's a good trainer.
He's just relaxed.
Yeah, he understands who's doing I like that. He understands who's doing the fighting.
Exactly, and I think it's a brilliant combination.
Yeah.
And, I think they're going to do well together.
Yeah, no, I think you're right as well. So talking about those two kids, then you got the Santa Cruz kid. I think he's boxing on the Mayweather undercard. Lad, you've probably seen him. He comes in. He's got the cowboy hat. He's a fantastic fighter. Now he's boxing at Bantamweight. He's talking about coming up. Abner Merez is talking about coming. Now both those lads are brilliant fighters.
Yeah.
Both of those lads are brilliant fighters. And this is why you've got to think about these things in different contexts. Because obviously we're talking about saying, okay, Frampton versus Quigg, but those other two boys are a level above them. In the same way that when Barry McGuigan was around, I'm sorry, that's how I feel about it. When Barry McGuigan was around, and obviously I was a big Barry McGuigan fan, and I remember watching Barry McGuigan, and in the background people kept talking about Zumar Nelson, who I paid too much attention to, and Julio Cesar Chavez, as people who could have a real good fight with Barry McGuigan. And then obviously you saw Zumar Nelson, and you saw Chavez, and you go, oh, that's what they're talking about. Those lads are, as much as you love Barry McGuigan, you have to acknowledge that those lads are another level. Because, they're fighting it, they're fighting in tougher gyms, the whole heritage of their upbringing has been tougher. Do you think that Frampton's going to suffer if he gets thrown in amongst those guys? He's done very well against a very good European level world champion, but for me, I've always thought those American, Mexican / guys, obviously using the Zumar Nelson, obviously not, but very tough kid. The whole environment is a different game.
I personally think he beats both of them.
Do you really?
I do, yeah. You got one who's going to be coming up.
But the Mares kid is going to have him at a catch weight. I don't think he'll go down at super bantamweight. And they might be able to argue into it, but I'd be surprised if he'd do that.
To be honest, that's Frampton's weight. If you want to challenge him, which I believe he has on Twitter, if you come down to the champion,
he's saying he's going to come down to super bantamweight.
He'll come down. Yeah. I mean, Frampton's a massive at the weight. So
a strong kid, yeah, no doubt.
I think that them two. I think I'd go as far as say he'd knock them both out.
He stops them both.
Both of them.
I think I'd disagree with you. I'm being perfectly honest. Well, two different fights. If they fight over there, that's a different game. Fight over in Belfast, well, then I'll give him a really good chance. It's a funny thing about that travelling thing. I mean, you say you take when Barry McGuigan lost his title, Stevie Cruz, does he beat Barry McGuigan in Belfast? No. Does he beat Barry McGuigan on a hot day in Las Vegas? Yeah. Or even just the environment of boxing in America. I think it's a big step up for some fighters. Not all, but definitely for some.
I think so. But you got to remember when Ricky Hatton was going over to Vegas, it was like he wasn't boxing away from home. He had all the support of the whole of UK. Do you think it's Did you think it's set up a little bit differently now? Because obviously Mayweather, after he fought Ricky Hatton, he always tried to plug into the British crowd, didn't he? He's always tried to do it. Really, no one's that interested as such in the context of your average fan. Do you think it's easier now that people like initially, I suppose, going back, Lloyd Hannigan went over and did it to Don Curry. Going back to Jose Napoles getting beaten by Giants Tracy. But in recent years, a lot more fighters that are British-based fighters have gone over and done well in America. Do you think that it's changed now? Do you think the British fighters are more adept at doing that? I think they realise it's part of their career progression. If they know, I think there's more for them. If they win in America, they know that there's
big money.
There's big money out there, and I think that Cole Frampton would be able to take 10,000 plus over to the States. I do believe he's going to have that kind of following.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. He does seem to have like. Well, again, you can never be definitely sure, can you? Because Barry McGuigan fought at QPR, I don't know, 30,000, 40,000, God knows how many people were there that night. Big stage. went over, first fight in Las Vegas, almost stopped. You know, I know that the weather and I know that all that sort of stuff, but the truth of the matter was that he got stopped by a geezer who would have never beat him in the UK. And I do think that if, you know, it's a big jump for a lot of fighters making that jump to the States. But like you, I hope that definitely happens. Rigondeaux, obviously, just to tie this up, Frampton, Rigondeaux, I mean, how does he do against that kid? I mean, that kid is, again, not my sort of fighter, I've got to tell you. I can see how brilliant he is. You don't have to convince me of that. But Jesus Christ, you know, he was having a boxing match in your garden, you wouldn't pull the curtains to have a watch, would you? You pull them. He's boring.
Yeah, I think you give Frampton 3-4 more fights. I think he's got
the other kid gets a bit older.
Yeah, he's got no option but to fight him. But now, you know, he doesn't need him. He's, you know... No,
Rigondeaux would definitely need Frampton.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think that, you know, at the moment, I think Frampton holds all the cards for all the fights, really. So
yeah, no, you're right. It's going to be interesting to see how he jogs on. Okay, let's go now to a nutrition tip, and it's the man who knows what adipose tissue can do. He wants to take it away from you too. It's Fat Nigel.
Hello, I'm Fat Nigel. Previously, we've talked about how drinks like our morning coffee can carry more calories than we're aware. But I'd like to wager we all have a reasonable idea about drinks like alcoholic drinks, like sports drinks, soft drinks, fizzy drinks. So let's examine some of these and see how they actually stack up. At nearly 200 calories, a pint of bitter, cider, a glass of red wine, we can see how quickly alcoholic drinks start to add up empty calorie wise. Indeed, some of the more popular foreign lagers can contain up to 400 calories. That's quite a lot for just one pint of beer. And now the soft drinks, including those that you drink specifically to perform well, the sports drinks, the protein recovery drinks. All these drinks are full of empty calories. And to fizzy drinks. These are best avoided completely if we're going to count calories. A regular can of Coke or lemonade gives us up to 150 calories of liquid sugar. Even a 250ml fruit smoothie could add up to 150 calories in our daily intake. And try to limit the use of the sports drinks. Use these for hard workout sessions. That's what they're designed for. They're designed for that hard workout environment, not to drink as a social drink. So, if we are working out in a less strenuous fashion, or indeed if we're going around our daily business, what's the best way to keep hydrated? Well, it's water. And why? Well, it's not only cheap and calorie-free, it is actually good for you. I've been Fat Nigel.
Fat Nigel, you've got a nutrition tip from Fat Nigel.
Well, there you are, another fantastic tip from a man who, well, you can see he knows what he's talking about. Thanks, Nigel. Thank you very much. So we come to another pay-per-view event. Las Vegas, MGM Grand, Floyd Money Mayweather, Marcos Maidana. My question is, and I'm going to put it out there, why? I just don't know why. I'm not interested in it. We saw it live. We were there. I think we both agreed Mayweather for our money won it pretty clearly. Why is this fight happening?
It's purely because he gave him a little bit of trouble. That's all there is to it. There's no one out there that can touch Mayweather. And I think that this is the only fight that sells. And it obviously has to sell, otherwise Mayweather wouldn't be taking the fight because of the money.
Well, it's an interesting thing you say it sells, because I'd like to fight. I can't wait till all the pay-per-views are in for this event to see how much it actually did sell. Because, you know, this is another example of, in my opinion, of Floyd Mayweather needing a big opponent to really have a pay-per-view event. There was the Guerrero event wasn't for me a pay-per-view event. You know,
people bought it though. That's the thing.
How many people?
I don't know the
Right,
numbers,
that's what
but
I'm saying.
it's enough
So-
to give him 30 million. So there's enough.
Apparently,
People
apparently, this to me is not a pay-per-view fight. I wouldn't. If you said to me you've got to pay $90 to watch this fight, I wouldn't buy it. Would you buy it for $90? Well, you wouldn't, would you?
well, not for $90, no.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I'd be interested to find out how many people do buy it. This fight, as it rolled through, there's only, what are the scenarios? Maidana's not going to be able to change up anything. He's going to box exactly the same way as he always does, marauding forward as he always does. The only questions that are open in this fight, the only possible question mark in this fight is Floyd Mayweather on the slide, and has he slid that much that someone like Maidana, who is not an over-technical fighter, is going to be able to take advantage of it? What would you say to that?
I'd say no to both of them. I don't think Mayweather showed signs that he was on the slide last time. I just think that he was adapting to the style. If you noticed early rounds, he was having trouble. But again, what does he always do?
And the other lad's throwing himself, literally throwing
he's
himself.
He's a great
at him.
fighter. He just adapts. And he gets, and like you said, we watched it. You know, everyone ringside. Like I think David Hay came out and said it in an interview. Mayweather won the first fight clearly. This time, I think the only reason why he's fighting him is basically because he got a little bit of stick through people saying, is he on a decline? He got hit more in this fight than he has in any other fight. That might well be the case. I don't think he's on a decline. I think that you'll see on Saturday night that he'll absolutely wipe the floor with Maidana.
So Roach has come out and said, Freddie Roach, obviously motivated by his charge.
I like that one.
Charge. Manny Pacquiao. And he said all of this stuff about Floyd Mayweather wanting to give the fans value, that's why he's getting into more exciting fights, is a load of old rubbish. He's gone. Mayweather's legs are gone. He can't move like he used to move. And we'll fight him, i.e. him talking about Manny Pacquiao, at 140, 147, 154, any weight you like. Now, you can see that one of two ways. You can see that as being slightly desperate, or, and in fairness to Roach, he has picked fighters in the past, he is absolutely convinced that his fighter now, because of the regression of Mayweather, will beat him at any of those weights. Probably for Pacquiao, better at, say, like 142 catch weight, that kind of weight, I'd thought, 143, 144. But your feeling is ultimately he's going to come out and trounce Maidana at the weekend?
Yeah, and I think,
Stoppage day?
You never know with Mayweather. I reckon if he has an opportunity to get him out there, he'd do it pretty quick. I would... Yeah, I'm going to say late stoppage.
The thing I'd say about the other lad, Maidana, is in fairness to him, he's very rarely in a bad fight, is he? I mean, there's nothing about him that's particularly amazing, but he's never in a bad fight. But would you say that Maidana is technically a better fighter than someone like, say Arturo Gatti? I think when Arturo Gatti fought Floyd the first time, I think it was at light welter, was it? Might have been welter.
I think it was light welter.
Light welter, so 10.
I think I only boxed him once.
So when they fought that once,
Yeah.
and the point I'm trying to make was that absolutely Floyd Mayweather, he couldn't get close to him. And one thing you'd have to say about Maidana, the last fight they had, he did get close to him. And the one thing that worries me, or not worries me, that I think that maybe he has got a point at Roach, is he did actually throw a couple of shots, Mayweather, that I've never seen him throw before and miss by that much. He threw a couple of right hooks. One in particular, he missed that lad by about that much. Now, I know for a fact that he would never have thrown that shot previously, and that makes me wonder if maybe Roach has got a good point. This fight at the weekend, is going to tell us much more about Mayweather than it ever could about Maidana, I think.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's all right for Freddie Roach to say things like that, but he's literally trying to get Pacquiao his last big payday to get, obviously, his percentage out of it as well. If you think of people saying about Mayweather being hit with shots. A lot of the time you got to remember Maidana had his forearm on his chest and winging in over the top onto his
weird right hand
onto the
that he throws,
you know. So when he's coming down, he's trying to nail him on top of the head. So.
But he generally gives people a little bit more foot than he gave that kid. That was interesting to me. You know, we said about Adrian Broner. The reason Adrian Broner couldn't get away with it with Maidana, he hasn't got the footwork that Mayweather's got. He does all the stuff, and he doesn't do a bad job of it, but you can only do that 1 or 2 times before they're going to start picking you up. By that time, Mayweather's generally thrown a few shots and he's off.
You mark my words on this. I guarantee you, Mayweather will not go to the ropes as much as he did in the first fight.
Yeah, but my question would be, why did he go to the ropes in the first place?
Because that's where he's comfortable. That's what he does. If you look,
well, he didn't look that comfortable in the last fight because the other guy was getting some shots.
Yeah, but that's like rounds 1, 2, 3, 4. If you look at the later rounds, he's not there. He's moving. He's jabbing. He's then countering at will. And you're going to see that from round 1. It absolutely wiped the floor with him.
Yeah, well, I think it's an interesting point. I mean, we'll talk about the odds of the fight in a short while, and also what your final conclusion, and mine will be. But I do think it's kind of interesting that a lad like that who could fight someone like Guerrero, Alvarez, and really they don't even get close to him, and a kid who I'd say is nowhere near the technical ability of someone like Alvarez actually did put a couple of shots in.
A lot of it was illegal. It was, you know.
Well, you can make an argument that a lot of stuff that Mayweather's done's illegal. He's never been slow to use his forearm. So, but I understand your point. That ultimately,
there was a lot. There was headbutts going in. There was all sorts of low blows.
A guy that generates as much money as Mayweather. Not that there's any favouritism in the boxing ring. Were you a little bit surprised that the referee didn't put a little bit more pressure on Maidana? Much in the same way that pressure was put on Ricky Hatton to fight a certain fight when he fought Mayweather. Because it seemed to me that, as you said there, and I agree with you, Maidana was a no-holds-barred fight. Referee let him get away with everything.
Yeah, I can't answer that. I don't know. Just different refs, I guess.
I suppose you're right. It was Perez, I think, wasn't it, the last time, was it? Yeah. Okay, well, I suppose we'll see how that unfolds at the weekend. Before we go to our betting tip for the weekend, and obviously I'm flying after the Frampton points, we're going to go and put a competition out there, and it's presented to you by our favourite young lady, well, mine, possibly not yours, Eastern Bloc Bimbo.
Hello everybody, I'm from the Eastern Bloc. This week's competition winner will get a choice of the ring poster t-shirt. We come with a print of the original poster. It's got official ring logo on the back. It looks great on, but you're naughty man. It looks even better off. See you next week.
Wow, Eastern Bloc Bimbo. So sad, her finishing school was bombed. That's why she's doing this gig. There isn't actually a question this week. All we want you to do is go to thering1910.com and register with us for our newsletter online. And then we'll pick a winner from the registrations that happen from the time you see this show till midnight on Sunday. That'll be Sunday the 14th. So, the fight at the weekend. Obviously, we're not just about giving the best odds. What we're interested in is giving the odds on the big fights. What odds have you seen? Where will your shekels be going this weekend, Jack?
Right, Mayweather, TKO, KO, or win on disqualification. That's with Bet 365, and that's 15-4. Right.
Now, obviously, the no-brainer bet here, which is giving you no odds at all, ridiculous, so it's hardly worth doing it, is the points win Mayweather. But you know something?
I was going to say that's brave of you.
I've got a funny feeling that our friend Freddie Roach isn't a million miles away from the truth. I thought Maidana did very well last time. I thought Floyd won, but I thought Maidana did very well. I look at Maidana as a consistent force. I'm beginning to think that Mayweather is slipping. I could be a bit controversial here. Okay, go on Ladbrokes. Yeah? And these are the bets. Split decision, 7-1, Mayweather to win. Majority decision, 10-1, so that's 2 even, and he gets the third, 10-1. But here's a bet, 25-1, the draw. I don't think that scenario, him getting a draw, is impossible. And if you wanted to have a little fun bet, a cheeky tenner, maybe 15, I'd stick it on the draw just for a laugh. I'll definitely, personally, be sticking my dough on the majority or the split. I've got a funny feeling this fight's going to be a bit closer. It isn't going to go the other way. It's going to go Maidana's way, if anything. It's going to go more his way. I don't think they'll never give Maidana the decision, even if he won it.
So you're trying to talk yourself into a position where next week when I come back and I say to you, I told you so, you're going to try and wriggle out of it and say, well, you remember what I said? Why don't you just have the balls to go for something and just be bang on it?
I'm scared. I'm not scared. I've got this funny thing. I'm a big fan of chi energy. I believe there are certain energies, and I've got a funny feeling that it's all going to go a little bit sideways for Floyd Mayweather this weekend. And I fancy split decision win for him, majority decision, or 25-1, saucy, the draw. Well, I think I'll have a...
You've just covered all angles.
No,
You're
I
basically
haven't.
saying Floyd Mayweather will win.
No. I've said Floyd Mayweather is going to win on two of them, or there's going to be a draw. There's a million other scenarios that could happen.
Let me say...
Maidana could win by disqualification. Floyd could win by first round KO. But of course, that's not going to happen. And that's not why these good people tune in. They like a bit of informed opinion. So I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to say 7s, split decision, 10s, majority, or 25s on Ladbrokes. It's a draw. Who'd have seen that coming? How many times have you seen that coming in the past? Not many.
We'll see.
From Jack Morris and me, Burf, we'll see you next week. God bless.